Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Astral Games Day 129. A giant astral incoming, indeed. Boo! Hello! Hello, Sneaky, what up? Yes, today is Astral Games Day 129, where we close off the episode 7 cycle with Pillars of Eternity. The pillars of dramatically written world, where the writing is interesting, to say the least. It's quite interesting playing a game like this over the way I do it, which is not basically every stream. Luckily, I do post all my videos on YouTube, and I watch back some of my highlights before the stream in order to catch up where we were at the story, and there's always the quest log, so that will be no problem. Very interesting stuff happening this week. Tomorrow and Thursday I'll be working, and then on Friday Philip 42 and Crafty Lau will be landing in the Netherlands, and we'll be doing all the stuffs for my birthday, including on Sunday a birthday stream. So bam, right out of the gate I will announce that this Sunday it is my birthday stream, and I will be streaming right here on this channel, right here on this space, mostly likely more to the side like this or more to the side like that, with Philip Rich at my side, and probably guest appearances from Bookfish and Lau as well, hopefully. So yeah, we'll be playing Castle Crashers, possibly a bit of Gauntlet, a lot of you know, couch co-op multiplayer games, and we'll be checking out Legacy of the Void beta, which we will just take turns playing a few matches or something. We'll see how we're going to arrange that. But we'll be checking out some Legacy of the Void as well. Oh yeah, birthday indeed. Got a lot of friends. Officially my birthday is on Thursday, but I don't celebrate them because I have to work. But on Saturday a lot of the friends are coming over, and we'll be having a birthday dinner with all the friends. Let's party! Indeed. It's going to be great. I don't officially have a birthday party, but all my friends being together and having a great night out is enough for me. It's going to be really fun. Also, on the streaming front, Pillars of Eternity means that this is the end of episode 7. All the games now have an episode 7, except for Crusader Kings, which crashed last time, or which got save corrupted last time, so that had to restart on episode 1. But all the other games have a official episode 7 right now, which means the end of episode 7. But I already have my streaming plans laid out for the future, because there's going to be some non-cycle episodes, some games that are not part of the cycle. Most notably, I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 Crusader Kings episodes outside of the cycle to let the episode catch up at least a bit. I will also be doing a Majesty 2 stream, as Majesty 1 didn't really work with OBS that well, unfortunately. But Majesty 2 is going to be streamed, which is a great game, and I definitely want to stream that at some point. And another episode of Blood Bowl, because I really enjoyed streaming that game as well, and people really seem to enjoy watching me stream that game. So Blood Bowl is definitely on the cards for the near future. And then we'll be starting with episode 8, which is going to be Dark Souls, as usual, as is the structured schedule. Also, Sword Coast Legends is coming out somewhere in between now and then, so possibly. And final announcement in November. Not sure if if a Friday is the 1st November or however, but in November, every Friday, Bookfish and I will be playing multiplayer Crusader Kings 2, as we're going to take on a Kaleidoscope Dynasty Challenge. Two founders of Kaleidoscope Gaming will be playing Crusader Kings 2 in the same game, and we'll be trying to get our two dynasties all the way from the 769 Crusader Kings start all the way to the 1453 Crusader Kings end, and then we'll be transferring that save game over to Europa Universalis 4, which is a game we still need to learn how to play, but I'm on it. That will be fine. By that time we know how to play it. And then we start in Europa Universalis 4, we start at 1453 and we go all the way to 1812. So that is more than 1,000 years of our two dynasties, and in Europa Universalis our two countries, trying to go for something, at least surviving and trying to be as big as possible. I don't know. We'll see what antics the game comes up with. November is Fallout 4 month, Astral. Exactly. That is the game I will not be streaming, because I'm not a Fallout person. So if you do want to see Fallout, I am sure Twitch will be well filled with channels that you can watch that game on, if you want to see Fallout over Crusader Kings 2. I'm sure that that Twitch will provide Fallout fans with more than they can chew. With that though, it's time to jump into the game. That was announcements, so it will be quite for a bit because the game minimizes if I fumble around with camera controls, which sucks, but it happens. I don't know if there's an option to actually window mode this. Ah, perhaps this helps. There we go. It helps. Perfect. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but there you go. I guess that's that's a thing. Yeah, let's jump into the game. Brackenbury. Ah yes, the new area. So we'll just look into our quest log and all that good stuff, and we'll see where we were and where we have been and all that. We'll catch up. If it does not crash because I put it on window mode. Game. Game. Art thou there? Game? No. Who knows? I think the game didn't like me putting it on window mode. Is it still responding? Nope, nope, it's not responding. Fine, fine, we'll restart you. Game. Blip. Okay, I don't know what it did there, but we should be good now. Hopefully. Otherwise I have to re-put it on the full screen mode, which I don't mind. But we'll see. Please load through. Please, game. Let me do this. Let me stream this gameplay. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Perfect. And look at that. They can all level up.
Whatever happens, at least we're out of that mud hole, Gilded Vale. I grew up in Gilded Vale. Quaint. That's what I meant to call it. No, you had it right.
Ready, Watcher.
And we can immediately level up, I guess. Oh no, wait, this is the rest bonus. This is not the level up thing, right? No, no, no. Oh, we have a rest bonus. We're close, though. We're close. But, excellent. So, we are now in Brackenbury. We came from Copper Lane, I believe. We explored Raymond Manor.
Sure.
In previous stream. Because this was, I believe, the building that didn't allow us to go upstairs. If I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, this was the old lady that said, "Don't allow to go up." Yep. There you go. So this is the only house we explored down here. Which means we need to explore the rest. That is basically what we're going to start off this stream with. So we did everything before this house. I think we ended up talking to these people, or at least reading these descriptions. Let's look in our quest journal to see where we are. Go to the Temple of Wodeka. First fires, we're not there. Fragments of a scattered faith. The records. He suggests there might be records of the Saints One archive in the Ducal Palace. We're not at the Ducal Palace. Trials, we need to spend time traveling with him. Endless Paths is the end game. Endless Paths is the end game. We need to travel to some cliffs. Oh, travel to Brackenbury Sanitarium. We're in Brackenbury. Why should I move it to the top left corner? Because that looks silly. I always think myself. If I move my camera to the top left corner, it looks so silly. I believe I can fly. Ooh. With all the other AstralGames days, I just had my camera here. Is it because of the party portraits? Blip. I'm on top of my party. Here's my party. I don't know how silly this looks. We'll see. So, Brackenbury Sanitarium. I met Helig of Thane, which was this weird wizard who killed Rowan all those years ago. He claims to know where she is, but demand a favor from me. Helig will retrieve his grimoire to settle an old debt. He's been confident that it's been locked away by Mudred, an animancer at Brackenbury Sanitarium, and Helig's old rival. Dalton told me on. Today I met Dalton, a tired adventure in Copper Lane. He's been hearing. Yeah, so we're coming from Copper Lane. He's been hearing the voice of Runa, lover and comrade who died at his side 60 years ago. In his dreams, she wanders beneath the city. Now you can see all the members, right? Pretty much. Do I need to... Yeah. There we go. That should fix it. Alright, so we met someone and his girlfriend's dead or something. And we need to go to Brackenbury Sanitarium, which is there. But we're exploring the rest of Brackenbury first. Noble. 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 Okay, so those are NPCs that just say stuff. Ah, more dramatic reading, guys. White water and white brows. So let's see how the conversation looks now. That black bar over there. That's weird. Oh well. We'll deal with it. Here we go. Pillars of Eternity dramatic writing. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from the past seems to call out. Yes, yes. You see this man kneeling naked before a dais in the center of a large round room. Across the room, opposite from where he kneels, stands a large throne. The throne's back and two of its legs are broken, rendering it unusable and causing it to tilt precariously on its stand. The room is ringed with figures clad in black robes, each chanting quietly, resulting in a low drone that pervades the room. On the dais, across the brazier, is another robed figure, holding a leather-bound book with charred marks on it. He is speaking to the naked man about fealty, dedication, and law. When he finishes, he bids the others to rise and holds the book out over him, over the burning coals in the brazier. The naked man nods and the robed man drops the book into the fire. The naked man drops to one knee, briefly pressing his forehead to the side of the brazier. Ouch! Then stands and thrusts both his hands into the coals at the bottom of the brazier. He retrieves the book, slowly presenting it to the robed figure before him. The man rubs his thumb on the ash that has collected on the cover of the book and uses it to draw a mark on the naked man's forehead over the burned flesh. The naked man bows his head and whispers, "Was that right? Duh." The robed man nods patiently. The naked man looks to the broken throne with childlike eyes. "Did you see that, Mom? Mom, get the camera." Actually, pretty interesting fact, for those that find it interesting. When the I believe it was when the Romans were in Gaul, there was a Gaulish tribe who wanted peace with the Romans, who didn't want to be invaded, and they said that the Romans should fear invading them because they were the bravest men alive. Or was that the other way around? It could be that the barbarians were invading the Romans, and the Romans said, "You should fear invading us because we have the bravest men alive, or we are the bravest men alive." In any case, the ones that said you should fear invading us, send over an envoy to actually prove their point. And what the envoy did, was drop a book into a flame and retrieve it with his bare hands, without screaming once or anything. And even when taking the book, he held the book firmly. He didn't go whoop and retrieve. He just stood there, and he said, "For every 5 seconds or something, I have my hands into the flame. That many years we shall have peace," or something like that. And that's what happened. They made peace for X amount of years, which was pretty interesting. Now that I read this, I get reminded of that fact.
Yeah.
I don't have my historic facts straight, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Alright. Rocco Francis Whitebrows. Yes. Reach for this. You see a burly man inspecting a dilapidated inn. The Amau salesman almost dwarfing him as they walk through the once proud establishment. The walls are rife with stains, and only Whale knows what else, smeared on every available surface. Not one thing stands unbroken, and moth-eaten blankets, rotten food and trash give evidence to a succession of squatters. The man frowns, scrutinizing the space. The Mao gives him a final offer, flashing 2 white teeth with each syllable, oversized and threatening. With a sigh and a jingle as he hands over the coin pouch, the man acquires the dump of an inn and begins to plan. Alright. Perfect. Oh, you switched onto your PC? Excellent. Alright.
Sure. So,
someone bought an inn. Cool. House Dumenel has dark reputation, but they're perfectly good neighbors. Okay. That's a weird combination. Ooh, cheese. That's rather cheesy. An odorous, crumbly wedge of cheese. Perfect for luring dinner guests and rats alike. We can just take that? Okay. As much as a spot on these oranges. Wow. Soon Lord Raymond commits his crazy daughter to the sanitarium, the better. Ouch. Okay. Lyra Rassan. You see a woman. Well, no kidding. Dark-skinned tout with the worry. Moving aft, she scales the rigging and shouts frantically at the crew. The ship isn't turning fast enough. She looks at the captain, gaping soundlessly at the approaching vessel. Her hands blister from the descent as she jumps from rope to rope, screaming at him to take action. Take charge! Do something! What is she paying him for, if not to defend her ship from pirates? With a squeal as ladders are thrown across, the ship is boarded. She sprints below decks, taking the steps 3 at a time until she reaches her cargo hold. Scrabbling amongst the containers, she searches until she finds it. A blunderbuss, fully loaded. Someone grabs her from behind. She throws up a knee, whirls around and shoots. The force sends her spine first into the wall, but her assailant falls to the ground with half a head and without an arm. Dragging herself up the stairs, she reloads and engages the enemy force with her crew. She cocks an eyebrow as pirates drop left and right. Clearly, this was more than they bargained for when they chose her ship. Okay. So a sailwoman. Not a saleswoman, obviously. Oh, first fires. That's another one we need to go to. Before we go into the sanitarium though, just hear me out with this procedure, blah 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 blah. Alright, before we go into the sanitarium though, we need to explore this. Ark of the Goth. As you near blah blah blah. Yes. You see a rocky clearing overgrown with weeds. A crumbling wall cuts through one side and the trees reach towards each other overhead, blocking much of the light that would otherwise illuminate the body lying near the wall. The body belongs to an elf, face down in the dirt. His clothes are torn and ragged. Large bruises seem to cover him, and there are cuts, abrasions and lacerations everywhere skin is exposed to the air. The elf twitches, a muffled cry escaping his lips, blowing dust around his head. He begins to moan, his hands scrabbling against the ground, fending off something you are unable to see. His breath comes faster and faster until he is almost hyperventilating. With one final sound, a swallowed scream, his eyes fly open. In an instant he's on his feet, crouching, eyes wildly looking around. His breathing doesn't slow and every exhalation is a groan. With one last look over his shoulder, the elf runs into the embrace of the crumbling wall's shadow, all but disappearing into the gloom. Looking down at his present condition, he murmurs, "I don't see how someone who so clearly screws over his own livestock can be so sensitive about it." Okay. They paint a weird scene or a horrifying scene and then, well, something with livestock. Let's hope there's some actual conversation inside. New map discovered. Dumenol Manor. Oh, I assume we have to talk to the dolmen. I don't even know what we're doing here, but just exploring everything. What are you doing here? Well, we're just exploring everything.
Good day to you.
The burly guard eyes you warily. I do not recognize you. What business do you have with House Dumenel? Tell me about House Dumenel. It's an old and respected family. Much of Defiance Bay's prosperity is due to Dumenel's business activities. Now, do you have any further business here? Nope. Okay, so we can't enter there without having any business. Probably a quest or a thing. Or where we do have business though is the Sanjay, because we have to steal a book. We'll have to steal a book back Because the book belonged to someone, got stolen, and now we have to steal it back for the one that it belonged to. Noble, an animancer. Ooh. Talk to these enemies. Speak with Head Warden Ethelmoir if you wish to make an appointment with one of our animancers. The name does not sound like Ethelmoir. A woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She's fixated on the pages of a large and well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow crosses her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you busy with? She snaps her book shut. I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death, but we still have a lot of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean about what makes them stick? She brushes a stray lock from her forehead. Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they're firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Waitwen's legacy, maybe even conquer death. She scratches behind her ear. That's the theory anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. What exactly do you need? There's a manuscript called The Theorems of Pantgram. It contains research from Pantgram's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Elder Archives. Maybe that's the archives of the where the other our party member needs to go as well. Pantgram's work is considered to be one of the more daring animancy texts. Not something generally circulated among novices, nor easy to get hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theorems could advance my research by leaps and bounds, but Grimda, the High Archivist, worships Whale, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge. Since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict the kind of information that would be useful to me. Maybe she could be persuaded. We all want to end Waitwen's legacy, so any researcher who is going to do an active effort into stopping that should be helped, I think. You're welcome to try, but you wouldn't be the first. Look at me spilling my troubles. It's kind of you to listen, but I should really get back to my work. Anything else? Well, tell me about yourself, if you want me to do something for you. I'm an animancer at the Sanitarium. Currently, I'm researching matters related to Waitwen's legacy. We already know what it is, but let's see if she can tell something new. Waitwen's legacy refers to the rise in Hollowborn children in the Direwood in recent years. Some have also connected it to so-called biawaks that blow through Air Glanfath. There's hardly any reliable data on those though, so I can't really comment. She sniffs. I don't much care for the term Waitwen's legacy. It reeks of superstition, but is too prevalent to change at this point. Personally, I'd like to see people take a more methodical approach to these matters rather than throwing up their hands and blaming the gods. Good to hear someone speaking sense on the matter. I have some questions on the theorems. Tell me about the theorems. Pantgram was a animancer, working in Direwood. He had some interesting theories about essence and some rather innovative techniques for studying it. He was able to reattach souls to bodies after death, although he wasn't able to prevent his patients from degenerating. It was controversial, to say the least, but many are starting to realize that he was merely ahead of his time. What do you mean by degenerating? Well, there seems to be a tiny problem with reattaching souls after death. The bodies will reanimate and may even retain memories and personality, but they develop a hunger for flesh, living, soul-infused flesh. Without it, they start to devolve, decaying mentally and physically. If the process goes too far, which eventually it does, they become mindless corpses, attacking anything that moves. We haven't figured out a way to avoid that. That is more than an inconvenient side effect. You've reproduced an unnatural curse with little to show for it. It sounds dangerous. Of course it is, but every great discovery carries years of trial and error. This is why we need the research of people like Pangram, to help us turn these failures into something useful. I myself agree. I mean, if you have all those failures already, you might as well learn from them. Why doesn't Grimdan lend you the books you need? The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rather protective of its books, especially the rarer ones. And Grimda in particular, she hates animancy, thinks it's dangerous. I don't see how you can run into the greatest library in Direwood and be so adverse to the spread of knowledge and research. But I've never understood these religious types. A lot scowls at the Animancer. Pah, some knowledge is best kept under lock and key. Like to know about the Hall of Revealed Mysteries? You'll find it in the Copper Lane district. It's dedicated to the god of secrets and revelations. Most importantly, it houses the largest and most expansive library in Direwood. Well, that's settled. We simply must go see it, right? What are the Elder Archives? The Elder Archives hold the rarest, most arcane and most powerful texts in Direwood. Think of it as an inner sanctum of the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Needless to say, you need Grimda's permission to enter. That is all I want. Anything else? Nope. So there we go. We have a quest. I think because what was his quest? What was his quest? Yeah, Ada has traveled. You seem to have some questions though, Watcher might be able to answer. Ada believes he might be able to find out more about the circumstances of his brother's death in Defiance Bay. He suggested there might be records of the Saint War in an archive. It says in a ducal palace, but I mean, such an archive sounds too important, so possibly it also holds records for him as well. Alright, here we go, into the sanitarium. Let's see what we can find. Retrieve hellish research from Mudrid's laboratory. Alright. Hopefully they're not gonna hate us, so we can still do the to the quest for the that we just picked up. Okay, so there's a sanitarium guard. I assume we can just walk around. There's some nobles, some animancers. The table is set with an assortment of leaflets and booklets with titles like Practical Benefits of Animancy and Soul Adjustment for the Well-Adjusted Soul. Sometimes we get people in here trying to make trouble. Well, I'm not here to cause trouble, I'm just here to steal a book. That's all. Warden and Animancer from the Republics. Extend a formal invitation. That statue is a warden? Interesting. Well, I guess the palace thing, the fortress thing, was also run by a statue, so yeah, statues talk in this world. It's normal. You sense a strange divide in this woman's soul, an unnatural boundary between two opposed wills. You see the woman pausing by a roadside to hand something to the driver of a stopped wagon. These herbs should help with the party's sickness, she tells him. He can find more along the road. Easy to spot with their serrated leaves, but avoid the ones with the green berries. It's a different species. Toxic. He thanks her and offers her coin, but she waves him off, explaining that she's merely doing what her order asks of her. He nods and she heads off down the road as he begins to hungrily consume the herb. You see the woman searching alongside the road now, the wagon just up the path, and you realize you have skipped backwards in her memory. She sets her eyes on a plant with serrated leaves and green berries. She picks several handfuls, tearing the berries off one by one and tossing them to the ground. She nudges them off the path into the brush quickly with her boot without looking down, as if to hide them from her own sight, before striding back towards the wagon, hands outstretched. You mother trucker! Can I kill you? Can I report you to the authorities? The head warden of the sanitarium is a statue, quite remarkable. Yeah, well, fortresses, sanitariums, all ran by statues in this world. This man's soul was torn asunder by a biawak. As you can see, the patient is unresponsive, common after soul trauma. The animancer places a small stone upon the patient's forehead. A portion of his soul was recovered near his body. We use this stone as a vessel for transfer. Can you hear me? Oswin. The patient's eyes slowly open before a panicked, wild expression washes over him. Unfortunately, the extended dissociation has permanent side effects. The patient becomes more agitated, grunting and moaning as he tugs at his bonds. With further research, we'll be confident that we'll be able to rehabilitate patients like Oswin. It is a bit weird. Oh, more soul adjustment for the well-adjusted soul. Farmer become God. We can just take the book. Thanks. Thanks, dude. Alright, let's talk to this statue here. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down, unblinking over the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There is a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turn towards you. It has been some time since a watcher has graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I am envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that brought you to my sanitarium? I'm curious as to how you've come in to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, I was old, and it seemed wrong to me. A lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we are to ever unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that, I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple, as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again one of our animancers will humor me and consult me over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you are considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. Tell me about sanitarium. A history lesson? This is a rare pleasure. Most come here only concerned with cheating death in one way or another. We are an old institution as Direwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst was that those born with, shall we say, ill-favored souls came to populate its streets in droves. Thus, the sanitarium. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion in animancy. Much like today, so much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But in time, it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then, we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We have played host to many gifted researchers and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Some of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you'll pardon my pride. Today it's, well, I can't say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Direwood's more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something they don't understand. So it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. Looks to them like we're hiding something. We have a representative in the palace this very moment, defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the duck. Absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Direwood. I fear Ava may be swayed by all this unrest, irrational though it may be. We shall see. I am here to defend animancy. Quack. Quack. Never grows old. The fact that there are ducks in here. I'm looking for an animancer named Mudrit. Mudrit, of course. You'll find him downstairs in the first room to the right. Thank you. Let's not tell him we're here to steal his book. Or re-steal the book that he stole. Oh wow. We can just take it. The most unfortunate tale of Favia and Bernard. A Valiant tragedy. Nasitark poetry. A compilation. Sure. The Midwife's Memoir. Psalm to Wodic. You see a dark room with garish furnishings, a large bed covered with pillows, several couches and expensive rugs. This man is sitting in a chair pushed against the wall of the room opposite the door. He is dressed in dark clothes with a black cloak wrapped around his shoulders, its hood pulled close around his face. Shadows fall across him, the darkness rendering him virtually invisible. Two other men wait in the darkness with him, watching the door. All three are motionless. Noise from the crowded common room below echoes up through the floorboards. The handle rattles. A man staggers in, dragging a young woman with him. The two standing men exchange a quick glance, one of them tilting his head and shrugging only slightly before jumping to the task at hand. One steps forward, grabbing the girl's wrist, wrenching it from her escort's hold with one hand while pushing the door closed with the other. Then that hand is over the girl's mouth, before she is even aware she's in someone else's arms. He takes a dagger from its place on his belt and draws it across her neck. He holds her still, waits for her struggles to stop. The other standing man has already subdued their target, now tied to a chair, arms and legs bound with a rag stuffed in his mouth. The girl, no longer moving, is placed under the bed, the man who dealt with her taking his place beside the other. They stare down at the man screaming against the cloth, but the muffled sound is unheard over the raucous noise of the crowd below. One of the men begins murmuring softly, putting his hand under the chin of the man in the chair. There's a brief flash of light and the man stops struggling, a suddenly placid look in his eyes. The two captors ask various questions that the bound man answers happily. After they finish, the two look to the man sitting against the wall. He has not moved as the events transpired before him, but only sat, silently observing everything as it happened. He stands, holding the cloak closed around himself, and nods to the two men. He then walks to the door, opens it only far enough to allow himself to exit, and leaves them to finish their task. God, if you know all this, so many NPCs would die if I could just destroy them. Vile criminals, all of them. ADA customs. I assume we can just go downstairs. His painting of a rolling forest glen has a strangely soothing effect. Interesting. Interesting. What's the meaning of this reaching out soul thing? Is it related to quest or just shows you the story of the person? Books for Bookfish. So basically you play like an animancer. Or not an animancer. You play like a watcher, which is someone who can read the souls of of like other people. So you reach out for the soul and then you see fragments of their lives. For some reason always the criminal activities, which is really weird. But you can see fragments of their lives. And yeah, so that's it's story reason. I mean, your character can do it, so why not put it in there? I'm not quite sure if it didn't have any practical use yet, in the sense that it isn't used to complete quests or something yet. So far it's only been used to provide more backstory to some people, and sometimes it mentions things of the world, so it informs players basically of what's going on in the world. But yeah, no quests related to it. I assume the main quest is related to it, because we did have a few main quests talks with NPCs that mentioned us being a watcher and being able to read people's souls, because it's very rare in this world. So I assume it's something main quest related at some point. But so far we've only been extracting criminal stories and background information about the world. It's yeah, that's its purpose. I hope they're going to do more with it as the game progresses. There's definitely potential in there to be a good mechanic. Oh hey, it's Mudred. Let's talk to him last. Bella Sage? Bella Sage.
Hail, traveler.
A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over the pages of notes. She almost walks into you. A cozy! Here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kith standing in front of me. What can I do? What do you do here? According to my research grant, I study awakenings. Sublimating pre-awakened souls has been one of the Animancy's greatest successes, and I am working on a method to replicate the process on awakened souls. She gnaws at her lip. You like this part? But the truth is that I find few suitable subjects here. Waitwin's legacy has left plenty of awakened souls, but most are too broken for study. She sighs. I fear I will return to Revua with nothing to show for my efforts. I'm awakened. I've been recalling flashes of a past life. She scratches her chin. Most interesting, but not the kind of awakening I can study, I'm afraid. I need someone whose awakened soul can be triggered with a predictable stimuli. Souls such as these tend to manifest as alternate personas in the host. She gives you a broad, strange smile. But I thank you for the offer. Something else? I'd like to know about Animancy in the Valian Republics. It's a dynamic and respected field. Even the Bale Reach incident did little to slow it. She shrugs. People in the Republics are far more accepting of risk, less superstitious, ready to try anything that shows promise. But Animancy has potential to do great harm. I'm not sure whether the benefits outweigh the dangers. This is true of any great technology. You cut a man open to remove sick flesh, and there's a chance you kill him. Build a boat to explore new land, and perhaps it sinks with you aboard. But surely, these things make us better off, even though they sometimes fail. Oh, I can't ask further? Okay. Fine. Fine. I thought I could ask about that incident. I haven't heard about that yet, but... Ooh, a guarded door. Oh. And a locked door. The edges of the cage are dented and scarred with claw marks. Ooh. I think you are not there yet. Oh, you actually meant a part? I thought it was meant... how do you say that? Because you posted a Kappa face, I was like, I like this part, even though I don't know what it does. But there's an actual part here. Interesting. Wouldn't mind being better armed, so what if it makes clients a little nervous? I never thought I'd take orders from a talking statue. Welcome to Pillars of Eternity, sir. Well, obviously we can't sneak in to steal the book, as he is definitely present. So we'll see what we can do. An animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Gods keep you.
Can I help you? He forces up a light smile. What are you working on? My area of focus is wichts. More specifically, how to cure them. What's a wicht? A hollowborn who's received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of Animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy, if not a successful one. He removes his spectacles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence, they become aggressive, feral, but still, victims in need of care. Transplanting animal souls into children seems like an odd solution. We Animancers were trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. He stares at a fixed point on the far wall. And despite the controversy, it only went so far because, at first, it seemed to work. People called it the salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. He takes a slow breath. The complications don't begin until puberty, but that's when the incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we paid dearly for our mistake, I promise you. Angry mobs hunted down Animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside, often as not. No spoilers. That's a spoiler! Damn you, sneaky! Alright. Why do you study wickets? He huffs. What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, their lives that could be restored. What could be more important? His face reddened, and he turns away from you for a moment. He shakes his head. Animancy has an answer here. I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. Hey, Deviant, what up? Hell, oh my god, spoilers! You playing through this game as well? Or planning to play through this game? If so, then sorry. But welcome, Deviant. How are you doing? I see. Good. He looks eager to return to his work. Does the name Helig mean anything to you? Helig. He is, a colleague of mine. He was primarily a necromancer, but he was involved in animancy too. He worked at the sanitarium for several years. I dare say everyone here has heard of him. He clears his throat. He left his post recently. I believe he was seeking new opportunities in the Valian republics. The advances they're making in animancy really are quite remarkable. Surely you've heard. Perhaps you haven't. Just started, Baldur's Gate vibes are real. It is a great spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate. I like it. However, the writing... Oh my god. So terrible. Well, not terrible, but so dramatic and so... Whoa. So... Whoa. There's so much they could say with not as many words. Not that I don't mind the reading, but just it's so dramatic. The style isn't really my style, but other than that, it's a pretty decent game. Yeah, definitely. I don't get the Baldur's Gate vibes though. I'm not sure whether I'm just a too hardcore Baldur's Gate fan to not notice the differences, or I don't know. It's a cool game, and I like it. But Baldur's Gate, man, Baldur's Gate is the best. No game can be better than Baldur's Gate. Even the, but it's probably just purely based on my nostalgia, because even the enhanced edition couldn't bring back the Baldur's Gate feelings, and that's the enhanced edition of Baldur's Gate. So I guess it's purely based on nostalgia, what I feel. But yeah. Perhaps you haven't. I don't care about the animancy advances. Do you know of a woman named Rowena? No, I don't get out of the sanitarium much. About Helig. Mudred smooths his robes. As I said, he no longer works here. I felt differently. He slides his spectacles down his nose. Just what are you insinuating? If this is your idea of a joke, I assure you, it is a very poor taste. So you didn't sink a blade into his chest and dump him in the catacombs? He'll be relieved to hear it. That is so cool. That is such a cool response. How could... Very well, yes, I killed him. I killed that beast because nobody else had the spine for it. He was a madman. Years of perverse experiments, twisting healthy souls, torturing damaged souls, and for what? He flayed the essence from Glenfathan indigents for his amusements. If the public had known half of his deeds, they'd have razed this place to the ground. He jabs a finger on the desk. He used the sanitarium to disguise his own sick proclivities. He brought shame on all of us and put the entire discipline at risk. I regret nothing. Anyway, now you know the whole grisly story. Helix said you stole a grimoire from him. His grimoire? What's that madman been telling you? He said you kept it in that trunk. Over there. Mudred takes the key with trembling hand, his eyes darting to the trunk behind you. You've been misled. There's no grimoire here, and Helig never intended you to find one. That wretched thing has an insatiable hunger for blood. Thank you for denying him. I hope I can convince you now to return and see him once for all. He has something I need. I don't know what he's promised you, but he's already lied to you about the grimoire. I don't have it. If what I've told you about that evil, deceitful man hasn't swayed you, I don't know what else to say. Trust him at your own peril. But...
How do you do?
But... Now I don't know. Show me the trunk. Show me the thing. Prove that you aren't lying to us, idiot. I want the option that he opens his trunk and shows us that there is no grimoire there. Helix's soul returned to his corpse. Let's tell him that. No doubt. But now you understand why I killed him. Why someone had to. If he sends you, I only hope I can convince you to refer and say him. I'll consider it. Consider also the kind of man he is and the kind of things he's capable of. Don't trust him. I must return to my work. I wish you well. God, but... Okay. Screw this. I'm gonna save. I normally don't save scum, but I wanna know. I wanna know. In the corner of Mudred's slabs rests a large weathered trunk. It seems likely to contain something important, if only by virtue of its size. Examine more closely. Nothing grabs your attention except for the large padlock on the front. Whatever this animancer keeps in here, he does not want anyone else to have or see. Open the trunk. Avilak holds the trunk shut. It's too sturdy to break, and the mechanism looks too complicated to pick. You'll need to find the key.
Hello.
Okay, so we need to attack him. So we can get the key. What? Crap! I still can't. He doesn't have the key. He took my key. Huh? What is this? What is this? Oh man! Seriously? He took my key. Wait, where is this? Where is this saved game? He took my key.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can just... We have it saved, so... He threw it away.
You
What?
must gather your...
Asshole. I want to know what's in the goddamn truck. Okay. This is pretty much safe scumming and all that shit, but I don't care. I need to know. My curiosity must be sated. Trunk holds no grimoires or treasures. Instead, you find yourself staring into the feral gaze and toothy maw of a twisted, monstrous creature. Young girl. Oh my god! It growls and leaves not toward you, but to her mother. Mother has no time to scream before its throat is... It's treasure indeed. What the... Hey, beware, what's up?
Serious me.
Holy crap. Deactivates chance of asset. Oh, that's all combat. That's gotta be Rowan. Okay, we did the right thing. We did the right thing. Hey Diego, what up? I'm fine. Have the key. Have the key. Okay, yeah. We got the key, right?
I do.
Perfect.
Right.
See ya. Bye. See you later. Goodbye. I enter the stream and something like that happens. Yeah. I was just safe scumming and checking quests because I really needed to know. But okay. There is the wise Astral and that was the greedy Astral, indeed. Two separate worlds. Both combined into... both came together. And then the wise Astral won over the greedy Astral and said, have the key, motherfucker. Alright. Now the question is though, do we return to the... where is it? Do we return to and kill him, or do we go to the first fires? Because Let's see. There is something with the first fires that I also needed to go to. I thought so. Oh, I thought there was a first fire thing. But I guess not. Oh, I thought it was mentioned. I guess not. I guess we can return to the catacombs and destroy this dude. There's a tomb! Boom! Here's a corpse! Surprise! Damn it. That sucked. What's the medallion thing? Because I met a young Glenfelter named Tristwin at Brackenbury Inn. He and a prostitute named Cyril worked together fleecing wealthy nobles until she came to possession of an Engwithan medallion. Now she wants to sell it, but he wants to bring it home to his broken clan. Cyril has an Engwithan medallion. She is a prostitute at Salty Mast, a brothel, and Ondra's gift. Tristwin suggests that I pay Maya if I want to speak. Okay. It's the main quest. Okay, so then we'll stay away from first fires, and we go to Copper Lane because we need to go back to the catacombs, and I believe they were in Copper Lane. We need to kill this mother trucker. Kill this vile necromancer. Vile. So vile. As vile as the corpses he uses.
You're from Gilded Vale? Then you're close to home.
Close can mean a lot of things.
Surely you'll go back when this is all over.
There it is.
Dunno.
Let's go kill a vile necromancer. Who's up for that? Yeah! Alright. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen,